Let's take a look at some configuration and setup needed when using the WBS. So the setup and configuration needed when using the WBS is kind of opening Pandora's box, because a lot of just the root or base configuration is needed. But there are a few specific things that you do need. The first one is a working calendar assigned to the project. So basically a working calendar is something that you define for scheduling purposes, and it really shows per day how many hours are available to work. So in the demo data, I think the default working calendar is 8 hours per day. The next thing that you need to do is define an activity number sequence. So when you create that work breakdown structure and publish your tasks, it assigns an activity number to each task. So if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to create a WBS. Then these two are the ones that I will be displaying here in our demonstration. And I just want to mention a couple other things. And like I said, it could be Pandora's box, because you need a project. That's required. You need categories, because they're just a required field when you create a task. Rates, those are going to be important if you're setting up the estimates or using that estimate functionality at the WBS level. Resources, if you're scheduling the WBS, and line properties are required as well too. And one of the best practices is to assign your default line properties at the category level, because when you define those categories, it will just bring in the appropriate line property. If you don't do so and you're using that WBS, you'll get an error saying, hey, you don't have a line property. Then you're going to have to go to that cost estimate tab and define all that information, which can make it pretty tedious to set up. So from a WBS perspective, defaulting in the line property is a great thing. So those are just a few that I wanted to mention, but the two that we'll look at is just the working calendar and the activity number sequence. Okay, so we're going to look at a few pieces of setup around the work breakdown structure. We'll knock out the easy one first of all. So in order to create an activity in general in AX, you have to have a number sequence assigned to the activity reference. And this is kind of in a hidden spot, but it's in a logical spot. So under modules, organization, administration, and then organizations, legal entities, you can come into the legal entity that you're working in, whatever it is. And in my case, it's USSI. And there is a number sequence tab within here. And then there's an activity number reference. And you basically have to assign a number sequence code to this reference, and if you don't have that, that means that you can't create tasks within your work breakdown structure. So you need that first and foremost. The next thing that you need is a working calendar, and basically working calendars are under the same module, organization, administration, and I'll just show you that real quick. They are, where are they? Set up calendars, so set up calendars and then calendars. Basically, you have your working calendar, and inside a working calendar, you basically have the days that you're open, first and foremost, and then how many days or hours per day, which is called your working times, can you go in and work. So basically, you can see here's the dates, and you can see the control, whether you're open or closed, and then at the bottom here are the times that you can work. For the work breakdown structure purposes, all it's really doing is calculating how many hours available you have to work, and that's what it's using to say how many days. So if you define 10 hours, it's going to go, well, how many days does it take a worker to work that? And it's going to go, all right, well, you can do 8 hours in one day, so it's going to take 2 total days it takes to knock out a 10-hour task. So that's typically what the working calendar is for. It uses the working times to see how many hours you can work in a day. So just to show you where you can go awry with this, since I have a troubleshooting background, you can go to the project management and accounting module and take a look at all projects. And let's say that you define a new project, and we'll just call this WBS test. and we'll create a project. And this, I've had quite a few requests in the past asking how this happens and how you correct the problem. So what typically happens is somebody creates a project and they're going to go in and create a work breakdown structure. So they go in to the work breakdown structure and they get this error. Select a scheduling calendar in the project team and scheduling tab and in the projects form to create a work breakdown structure. And they're like, what the heck does that mean? So this error is really good. It used to be a little different back in the previous versions. So basically you can go to the project team and scheduling tab, which is this fast tab right here. And all you have to do is assign a scheduling calendar. So you could define the standard. If you never want to see that error message again, real easy solution to that as well. So just an FYI, when I pick that, now I can go into the WBS and you can start adding new tasks, etc., all that stuff. So those are really the two pieces that you need to get this work breakdown structure working, along with, I guess, quite a few other areas that pull into this, like rates and line properties and categories and roles and resources, and there's quite a bit of other generic setup. But so if you never want to see that error message again when you're creating a WBS, you can go to the project management and accounting parameters, and on the scheduling tab there is the default working calendar, and you can assign that to your whatever working calendar is your default. So standard's the only one we have. So now when I create a project, it's just going to automatically define standard as the working calendar, and I can go into the WBS button no problem without receiving an error. So those are the two pieces of setup that I wanted to make you aware of with the work breakdown structure.